why is life so hard? Why does sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is just on my shoulders? Why does it just feels like I hurt? And why does people hurt me? And why do I feel so troublesome at times? And why is there this wrestling? Why do we go through what we're going through? Why, God? Why is it not fair? Now, those are very important questions. And those are very relevant questions. And everybody has the right to answer those questions. Now, those questions become very troublesome if you just want to sit in your pity. They become troublesome if you just want to feel sorry for yourself. They become troublesome if you just want to lick your wounds and you want everyone else to feel sorry for you. Those are horrible questions. But they're powerful questions if you want truth. They're powerful questions if you want answers. They're powerful questions if you want to grow and you want to be healed and you want to have purpose and you want to have meaning. These are the questions we have to wrestle with. Why is life not perfect? Why does pain exist? Why do we go through pain? Why do we have to struggle? And why does God allow it? Why does he place it on us and doesn't stop it? Why isn't it always kumbaya parties and everything perfect when we accept Jesus in our life? Why? It's because he's trying to teach you something. And Solomon gives us the answers. And Solomon says there's 4 truths every one of us must grasp if we're going to prosper in this life. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not normally a note taker, today you're going to want to be. Because I'm going to give you the secret that you're going to have to walk through, because every single one of us will walk through this. There are valleys you will walk through. There are winter seasons that you will go through. Yes, spring comes, but so does winter. And you need to understand these truths that we're about to grasp. Number 1, the very first thing he says in the very next verse is this: God's plans are wise. Solomon says it like this: yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time. He's planted eternity in the human heart. Bad things happen, but there can be purpose in the midst of them. Horrible things happen to you at some times, but there can be growth in the midst of what seems like death all around you. Every seed has to die before it grows. And there is a purpose to everything in this life, and God's plans are wise. Listen to me right now. God's perspective is not your perspective. He sees the world through a different lens than you see it. And not only does he see the world through a different lens, he sees you through a different lens. He has a different perspective than you even have on yourself, because God doesn't look at you like an accident. He doesn't look at you with regret. He doesn't just put up with you. He's not disappointed and angry at you all the time. God looks at you with a hopeful anticipation that you can grow, that you can be different, that you can walk through whatever trials you're going through, and there can be something that happens that causes growth. You can burst through the ground that you've been buried in for so many years and bloom into who you were created to be. There's a purpose to the seed of your life dying so you can grow. It's why Paul says so powerfully in Romans, check it out, come on. We know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Did you notice he doesn't say everything is good? He says he works together the good. How? For those who love him. Which means in the midst of your pain, you've got to drive yourself to intimacy with God, not isolation from God. In the midst of your pain, you've got to learn the art of falling at the feet of Jesus, not falling at the feet of your emotions and your pity. It's why we worship. We worship when we don't even feel like it, because we tell our bodies, you will be in submission to who I am called and created to be. My sinful, weak flesh does not tell me where I go, but my spirit, who is connected with heaven, who's got eternity planted in my heart, tells me who I'm called and created. So I drive myself to an intimate God who loves me, and he starts working something through me. Not only that, but notice what he says: who are called according to his purpose for them. Which means God works together through the intimacy and through us getting to this place where we say, God, not my will, but your will be done. See, when you want your will to be done, you know what you tell God? You're not wise, I am. And we wonder why we stay in the seasons of pain. It's because you have not plowed your heart for seasons of harvest. You still think you are the gardener, the grower, the creator, and you forgot he is. It's why Peter says we should look at trials with joy. Why? Because it's like gold being refined by fire that removes the impurities. What happens when that happens? The gold becomes valuable. It is through your trials you can remove the sin you've been accumulating all these years, those negative thoughts you've been accumulating all these years, and you can walk in the valuable state you were created to walk in. You can be the reflection of who you are your heavenly being, who you're supposed to be, but it only comes when you embrace the fires of your trials and not jump out of the kiln. It's a choice. And that was me. So many years I was a chameleon. So many years, I got every single affirmation from other people, and I needed you to approve me, and I needed you to love me, and I needed you to like me, and I needed you. And out of this, my wounds of never feeling like I was enough, I tried and I competed, and I needed to compare myself to everyone else, and I had to prove myself. And then if anybody would have anything feedback-wise or constructive, I was defensive because my whole life I was accused and I was demeaned. So it was something I would take and I would get angry at. And it wasn't until I realized I can learn healing through what I've been, and I can get growth through where I've been, and I can be strengthened. I don't have to hide my skeletons in the closet of my life, but I can expose them and call them from what they are, and I could see dead bones resurrect and rise, and I could be who God called and created me to be. Listen to me, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. We are not weaklings that need everything to be perfect. We are victorious conquerors that in the midst of an imperfect situation, we rise to our created calling and we kick the devil's teeth in and we keep moving. We are strong. And it's because of the wisdom of God we walk in that. God is wise. Number two, oh, Jesus. God's plans is mysterious. Jesus, you're good. Goes on to say, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. God is a mysterious God. Listen to me. I'm going to clarify something real quick. God's not in a tug-of-war match with the devil, okay? So many of us think the devil got so much authority, and God's like sitting at the edge of his throne. He's like, oh my gosh, devil did that. I got to run over here and intervene, and oh my God, I got to go handle that, right? That ain't God. God's sovereign, the devil's not. God has authority, the devil doesn't. Now, here's what we have to understand. God has given every single one of you free will, which means you have the ability to choose whatever life you want to live and whatever mindset you want. So you can believe the manipulation of the devil, and you can believe the lies of the devil. And one of the big lies is you think you're on the same level as God. It's the very lie that the devil got Eve with. Eat the fruit and you'll be like God. You'll know what God knows. And a lot of us cannot stomach the fact that our thoughts are not the same as God's thoughts. So we think God's got to consult with us to get our permission on everything he does. And what happens is we try to make ourselves our own gods in our life. And the impossible never becomes possible when you are God. You will always fall short. God is sovereign. God's plans are not our plans. And listen to me, your finite little brain cannot compare to the infinite wisdom of a God that is the creators of the heavens and the earth, the omniscient, omnipresent, all-powerful God who doesn't think the way you think in such a selfish, narrow-minded, temporary mindset. Yet it's something we struggle with. And guess what? Everybody struggles with it. Even the greatest heroes of our faith cries out to God. Why? Listen to the prophet Jeremiah. Watch Jeremiah. Why then does suffering continue? Why is my wound so incurable? Your help seems as uncertain as a seasonal brook, like a spring that has gone dry. Have you ever asked God that? Why, God? Why do my prayers feel like they are not answered? God, why am I going through do you just not care about me? Why are you distant? Why do I feel this? Why? You know why you're asking that question? Because the eternity is implanted in your heart, which means your soul is connected to heaven. And your soul longs for the place where there is no more tears, there is no more crying, and there is no more pain. And your soul knows there is a perfect God who makes all things good, and you're longing for that. So it's good that you're crying out these cries, because you know what should be and what could be and what will be. But listen to me very clearly, you will not get to that place of answers taking matters into your own hands. You'll only get into the place of answers realizing His thoughts are not my thoughts, and those answers will come over time, but only if I trust Him. I've got to put my faith in Him. I've got to put my trust in Him, because if you keep trying to be the God in your life, you will always disappoint yourself. Your soul is connected to heaven. Hebrews says your soul is anchored into heaven through the Holy Spirit, and it's like a rope. And so we're pulling ourselves from this earthly world, this realistic world, this world that's trying to keep us weak, and we're pulling ourselves into the throne room of God, and we stay locked in on the sovereignty of God. We stay locked in on the mysteriousness of God. We stay locked in on the thoughts of God, because your realistic self wants you to grab a hold of your past and the rocks of your sin and cling to it. And God's saying, pull into the throne, because my thoughts are not like your thoughts. It takes you trusting Him. He is a sovereign God. He's a great God.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring-a-ding that bell so you never miss a video or a live stream, and give this a share to one of your friends. And remember, we go live every single Sunday. Till next time, pray God's peace.